many of you know me already. I work for Accenture, originally part of Accenture Consulting and now part of Accenture Digital. I lead the global capability for marketing, which deals with all 4 P's of marketing, including digital. So that's my brief introduction. I'm with Accenture for the last 10 years and I created this capability in India and I lead it globally. I have few slides in my hand. I don't like slides. Unfortunately, I'm a consultant and worth of a consultant is measured by the weight of his deck, right? So I have to do something. So I created those slides. Still, I like to keep it more informal conversation. Your computer won't listen to me. So, as I just to kickstart, what's an influencer marketing? And I think all of us know, this slide is just for kickstarting the process. We know there are certain people who are influencer. This influencer marketing focuses on identify the guy, right? Target your marketing in such a way that he starts influencing the target, your ultimate target, right? This may include your customer. This may include your some middleman, some party which is not related to both of the segments, right? And in today's world, this could be an aggregator, right? Like cartrade.com or something. Is it new? If you strictly speak. Look at the picture. These are Brahmins of old times, right? Kings use them as influencer to so-called Sanskritize or civilize them. Right? That's influencer marketing. They are not marketing the product. They are marketing an idea. This is, I think, 1890 or 1870, where an actress, a very famous actress of that time, did celebrity endorsement. Right? That was a time when it was difficult to find granular endorsement. But nowadays we have social media. So it's not new. Content is changing. The way it is happening is changing. So in a very generic way, what is happening? We have a brand and they are customer. We want to bridge this gap between brand and the customer. Typically, we use all the marketing. Within this marketing spectrum, there's a guy called influencer. We try to talk to him, right? And best example you will see, for example, Asian Paints. Even before talking to us, they talk to the mason and the painter, right? The second best example is, and I'm not talking digital. I'm not talking digital at this place. Second very big example is our pharma companies, right? They don't even talk to us. They talk to the doctor because he's the influencer, right? So it's not new, except that what's the focus is changed. So through what happened in this influencer space, we use celebrities, which is very old thing. We still use that. Then we started using expert endorsement, so for investment, for engineering products and so on and so forth. We started using influencer group endorsement. I gave example of Asian Paints, right? We started using customer referral endorsement. One very important group which is emerging nowadays is managing your loyalty, net promoter score, etc., etc. Okay, and then social influence marketing. This is changing the context of the game. This is not changing the players of the game. Players are there, right? Some get additional power, some get power diminished. So that's what the big change is happening. Let's see the picture down below, right? So now we have brand, we have the same set of influencer who is influencing to customers, and you see some of the customers are acting as node. So this is the democratization which is happening, and then it leads to certain action. So what is happening here actually? The focus is shifting, right? It is becoming more democratized. So it's not that you have to be really a great expert who is known everywhere, right? I can be an influencer as long as my small area of marketing is concerned. So with a very clear face of influencer, now in today's world, the influencer could be a faceless individual, and that's where the challenge is. Now we have to identify that faceless influencer and figure out how do we approach this person. What we are doing to do this, we are doing all those things which we have been doing. Okay, we do public relations to influence, right? We do digital marketing, and I think majority of the guys who are sitting in this room would be thinking about digital marketing. And this is my very strong belief, and I'm repeating it again and again in almost every conference, we are not in the era of digital marketing. We are in an era where we have to market in a digital world. So digital is a very, very important component, but just one component. And this component has changed the dynamics. That's why I consider this slide as important. All those ingredients, instruments, levers in the markets are still in the play. Digital is the new one. Then we do advertising, we do community management, right? Again, I guess say masons and painters and those kind of things. Events, again, very, very popular. Market research. How do we measure and manage? And why I jump to the measure? My profession, that's how I earn my livelihood, is to facilitate, measure, and then help people manage. Okay. For the last 10 years, I'm doing marketing effectiveness measurement, different components, all things taken together. The way I see the influencer part of it, there are 4 different distinct trends which are happening. One is identify influencers, test the weightage, and measure the impact. I'll pick one example for that. The second is measure word of mouth, which is treated as intermediate KPI. Now, word of mouth is not influencer, but word of mouth, when this influencer business got democratized, became a very good vehicle, right? So people started thinking, why don't you use this as an index of the influence of or activity of the influencer, and then see what is the impact. Then there's a group of people who talk about net promoter scores, right? They say that your happiest customer act as an influencer for rest of the guys. So why don't you focus and work on that? And this, the foremost proponent of this is one of the guy, I think, Frederick Richfeld, something like that. He's a partner, managing partner with Baines Consulting. He's the foremost proponent of NPS. I'll bring one slide on that. And the last one, most commonly used, is heuristic, right? Let's count the likes. And then somebody would say, like is not good enough. Okay, let's count retweet also. Okay, this is also not good enough. Okay, count how many tweets or retweets compared to the total universe and see the ratio. So many heuristic things. I understand why these are being done because it's easy to get them. These are lead indicators, right? But if we stop here, that's where we lose the game, right? And that's why I again and again say we are marketing in a digital world. It's not digital marketing per se. We don't sell to get likes. We sell to get revenue. My sale is over. It's bad. So let me pick. My time is over? Okay. So one old example which I'm bringing, this is one of the very famous leading electronics manufacturer, and they were thinking about their black TV screen. What's happening? What's happening beyond my marketing, which is influencing my sales up and down, right? And that's where in addition to whatever we were doing for the marketing, we started looking at what is happening in the social media, who are the guys who are talking about them, right? And that's where we started, doing the listening. This was 5 years old. YouTube was not at that time, Twitter was not at that time, so it was focused on your forums and blogs and those kind of a thing. So we tried to identify the network, who is acting as a node, who are the persons, what topic, what message, what keyword, etc., and tried various weighing patterns. Whom should I give higher weight, lower weight, so on and so forth. Using that, we created a data trend. Okay, nice slide. We are creating data. I'll show you next slide. And then we use in our comprehensive, holistic framework of marketing effectiveness measurement, we identified that these influencers are accounting 2.5% of the total sales, right? Not only that, we could identify how your marketing activities are influencing the activity of these guys and how these activities are again related to your sales. We could also figure out what are the lead lag pattern and quantification of those relationship between your competitors' activity and these lead indicators, right? This is one. Let me give just one slide more, Vatsal. This is another very common, you can call it cutting edge. So what leading clients want today is a comprehensive picture of what's happening in the market. I have reduced, at least half part of the slide. The rest of the part was on this side, which was showing which marketing activity is influencing what component, and there are n number of brand metrics which they are covering, and then we are measuring the word of mouth and those kind of buzz in the market, and we are figuring out what is causing what to what extent. You see the numbers on each of the arrow. These numbers show the strength, you can call it elasticity or whatever, by which one of the activity or action is influencing other. And if you see the end game, this is a telecom company which is selling telecom subscriptions. The gross ad is the gross number of connections sold. If you see, the word of mouth appears to be the very heaviest, which is having a direct impact. This shows direct as well as indirect. So I have tried to give you two glimpses of two different ways, right? There is no standard way, and see, influence is a very human process, right? We tend to convert that into machine or an asset. We love that because that gives us a lot of money. Accenture also got greedy. I'm talking about the previous one, okay? This one, 2.5% I tell you, right? So we thought let's pack it in a can and sell it off. And then verbatim the same thing was applied to a credit card issuer, and result was disaster. No, right? Because the dynamics of influencer for flat TV is not applicable to the dynamics of influencer of credit card business, right? A few days ago, I was reading a blog somewhere, and I read a very interesting story. There are 2-3 tools, Cloud, Reg, Peer Index, etc. And one person tried to figure out this tool at different places. This tool gives a score of each influencer, how strong that person is. So they saw that score of a top of the mind CRM expert is 54. And then they kept on repeating, and then they suddenly noticed there was a squirrel who crossed the basketball league while the match is going on. And that squirrel was all over this place, right? The squirrel has 27. Vatsal is coming close to get me down. I understand. Why that squirrel was running? Because a snake, got let loose from a zoo, and that snake was following that squirrel. The snake had a score of 57. So snake has more influence than the CRM. Got it? That's what happens when we try to can everything in a tool and try to sell a tool, right? So, I used to speak, my own mind, give ideas which are at times controversial. I hope this is, strong enough to wake all of us up and start a good conversation. Thank you, Vatsal. You don't have to drag me down. I'm coming.
Thanks.